So Ukraine has been focusing on expanding the kill zone, and this Lightning drone is one of the ways they're doing it. The Bliskavka, or Lightning, is a modification of the Russian Molniya platform, and to put it simply, it delivers a larger payload at a further distance and a lower price. To learn more about the Lightning drone and its capabilities, we're joined today by Ross, a member of the Bliskavka team who manufactures this popular new platform. Now, this interview is organized through Ziggy's Paw as part of a fundraiser that we're doing right now to help outfit the 26th Artillery with a bunch of these exact drones. So for those interested in learning more about that campaign or contributing, that link will be in the description below. And with that, let's get to the conversation. All right, Ross, appreciate you taking the time, sir, to talk through this a bit. We've started to see more and more of a certain type of drone on the battlefield that my understanding is you guys are making, and we're just hoping to learn a little bit more about it. So am I pronouncing this correctly? Bliskavka?
It's Bliskavka.
Bliskavka. And does that mean lightning? Yeah. Is that correct?
That means lightning, yeah. Because we strike like a lightning.
So, love that. Tell me a little bit about this drone, because it seems like we're seeing more and more of it.
Yeah, so this basically is a drone that was inspired by the Russian drone called Molniya. It translates all the same. It also translates as lightning. The idea behind it was to fulfill the mission that was standing before our guys. So Russians are entrenched deeply, and they have a lot of field bunkers that needs to be bombed. And our drone carries very big payload compared to traditional quadrocopter drones. It carries up to 8 kilograms of payload. That's a lot. That's a tank mine that's attached to the drone that can be sent straight to the bunker, destroy it, like completely destroy it, so that ground falls from the above, and then little drones can go and finish the job. That's the core idea and actual tactical problem that our drone solves.
Are you able to give a rough range or a ballpark range?
Well, that depends on the payload, but you can definitely go with the maximum payload up to 40 kilometers. Sorry, but
Wow.
I do not know how to translate it into the miles. Maybe like 30 miles
Hey, it's
or
fine.
something
Neither
like
do
that.
I. Yeah, it's one or the other.
Yeah. Well, basic European stuff, like we use kilometers for the range. And yeah, it goes with maximum payload up to 40 kilometers. It can go, if with light payload, up to 60, 80 kilometers, something like that. That's quite far. And mostly that's because we are a fixed-winged drone, and because we don't need to fight the wind. And even if we are jammed under heavy jamming, because this is the plane basically, it still goes, and it is quite heavy to shoot down.
It's interesting. It seems like you guys solved a couple different issues here. You've got a longer range, low cost drone, because it does seem like a lot of focus this year or the last few months has been those medium range strike missions rather than the zero line and the oil fields, something in between in that 40 to 80 kilometer range. Is this partially what this was designed for, to kind of fill that gap?
Yeah, absolutely. Not only that, I was talking about in the first place about bunker busting functions, but also the logistics. Logistics is the god of war, basically. And if there is no logistics to the front line, there is no front line. And yeah, the quadrocopter drones, which were pioneering solution for logistical warfare, is now so abundant, people cannot even go close to the front line. You will get immediately detected, and then a few drones will go for your life. And for that, yeah, the longer you can go, and the more mass producible you are, you can target the more and more less priority targets. For example, we know that Russians are now not using as frequently as they were used to any type of mechanized units. That goes also for cars, that goes with BMPs, infantry fighting vehicles. They are not now, they don't use that as frequently as they were used to, mostly because of the drones. And we, in order to deny them with logistical capabilities, we need to strike even individual soldiers that carries water and supplies and ammo on their backpacks. They even use mules, actual mules, living mules, to carry supplies to the front lines, and they need to be targeted as well, because each bullet that goes to the front line is danger that needs to be denied to the enemy.
You're talking about a pretty wide range of targets, from bunker busters to BMPs to individual soldiers carrying equipment forward. Are you guys able, or is the unit able to swap out the payload or the warhead type based off of what they're targeting?
Yeah, absolutely. You can with duct tape carry any payload you can imagine. Even tank mines, even infantry mines, grenades. Well, I don't know if you want to carry a grenade, frag grenade. It's like 500 grams, something like that. That's not very heavy payload.
Yeah.
If you wanna carry this less amount of payload on Bliskavka, because we can carry 8 kilograms. Well, and plus on the operating range, that's not only tactical, that's operative range. That's 80 kilometers. You can. That's not about killing an individual soldier, but that's more about destroying vehicles. And this less amount of payload doesn't guarantee that you will actually destroy a vehicle.
Bigger boom, more likely to have the results when it strikes the target.
Absolutely, 100%.
So we have seen the FPV or quadcopter drones extend in range to where now some of them, they're getting big, and some of them are going 40, 50 kilometers, sometimes on fiber optics. Can you talk about maybe the cost difference between the Lightning and one of the big quadcopters that might be able to go a similar range?
Well, that depends. Again, you said about fiber optics. Fiber optic is quite expensive, especially nowadays. Okay. That depends on the means of communication, because that's not about the question, not only about whether the drone can fly physically this amount of kilometers. It's also about whether you can reach with the signal to this drone to actually receive video from that. And based on this perspective and on cost differences, yeah, we travel further. We are less expensive because we do not have to fight the wind with when we fly, compared to, again, quadru drones. And plus, well, if we are talking about raw numbers, that's difference can be in thousands of US dollars. The quad drone that can fly 50 kilometers will definitely cost more than $5,000. That's like my very rough estimate, but we cost double, actually half of that price.
Okay, so it's about half price, roughly.
Yep.
Yeah. So you can get two of these. Okay, and I don't want to pin you down on the exact numbers, because I know it's difficult and it changes and there's a lot of variables, but that gives a good idea that it is significantly cheaper, less expensive than the quadcopters. Real quick on the storage and moving these to the front and launching them, they seem relatively lightweight. So I would imagine a soldier could probably carry one of these into a launch position. What do you need to be able to launch it? Is there any special equipment? I mean, that's one of the benefits of the quadcopters, right? Is you can just set it on the ground and it goes. What does it look like launching the Lightning?
Well, we use catapult to launch the plane from the ground because, well, you will need quite a lot of force to actually throw it, to give it momentum, so it will fly. And how it actually looks on the practice, you have a catapult, you have the safe place for the team. Catapult is somewhere in the field, far from the front line, and the crew sits underground in the shelter. They, in the shelter, make the drone from the parts we supply them. Then, when they need to launch the drone, they go to the catapult. They launch it from the catapult and sit in the shelter and pilot it. It's not like space science, you know. It's not.
Yeah.
It is quite simple. The time it takes in order to operator to understand how to fly Bliskavka is less than a week, so it's not complicated.
When you're talking about that launch platform, the catapult, is that something that is it easy to hide? Do they move it out and move it back? I'm wondering if it's something that gives away a position to Russian drones when they're flying by.
It can be carried in by one man, I believe.
Okay.
It's not as big, and plus it is not as easily detectable as you think it would be. It's quite small, actually. Like, if I would say, 1.5 meters long. That's
okay.
4 or 5 not inches. I forgot the words about how Americans measure height.
Yeah, it's feet, miles, and pounds. That's what we got to get it all over to.
Somewhere
Look,
around 4 to 5 feet, I believe, in just.
I get it.
Yep.
A benefit, Ross, in the military, we tend to use, for distance measurements, we use kilometers and meters. So I've kind of gotten used to that when talking about weapon systems and ranges and battlefields. But the average American, kilometers it's a foreign language.
Yeah, I tried to translate this foreign language, but I am pleased to know that in the U.S. military there are some hopes for civilization, like with meters. So that's okay.
We're leading the way over here for sure, man.
Yeah.
So this isn't is this the only product you guys make, or do you have a line of different drones that you manufacture?
That's definitely one of the main products we produce. And a lot of side products are based on this one.
So that was kind of what I wanted to get at is it seems like the technology is here, the core is here to where it would just require little changes. And instead of 8 kilograms to 40 kilometers, it's 16 kilograms to 400. Like, it just seems like you've got the model, just a couple tweaks, and you've got a bigger, longer range drone. I'm probably oversimplifying that. Okay.
That's basically the story, you know. We've managed to copy the decision, the idea from Russians with their Molnia. We improved it, significantly improved it. Now it flies faster, it travels further. It is also gives more situational awareness to the pilot, mostly because we use movable cameras, for example. Russians don't use that. It is more reliable, it's stable when it flies. And the question about this is, like, we have the core idea, simple, mass producible, very cheap drone that can be modified with a few tweaks here and there, and we have a different solution to different problems. Like, if you need to explode heavily fortified position, just take the variant of Bliskavka that can carry much more very big payload and use that. If you need to deny the logistic to the enemy, use less payload, it flies 60 kilometers. That's a lot.
Mm-hmm. That's a long ways, man. It seems like every day, every week, those distances are increasing, and it's going from, oh my gosh, Ukrainian drone hit somebody 10 kilometers behind the front, and now we're blinking, and it's 70, 80 plus. I mean, of course, well beyond that, but it's crazy how big that kind of kill zone has become.
Yeah, but that's not like that's understandable because war is the fight between the sword and the shield, and when they have the solution to the 10-kilometer drone, we need to invent 20-kilometer drone. When they have solution about for 20 kilometers, we strike to 30 kilometers, because the further the kill zone, the further they go to shelter, and the further we need to adapt and understand how we can strike this deep.
That makes sense. I hadn't thought about the camera difference there, but having a movable camera like a DJI, where you can actually look around left, right, up, and down to orient the pilot versus a fixed camera, that seems like such a small detail, but I don't know, it feels like that would give you so much more awareness of where the pilot is on the battlefield.
Yeah, compare that with the iPhone that has Face ID and without Face ID. That's two complete, like one feature, but it makes the complete difference.
Yeah. I'd have to remember my password every so often, which would be a nightmare.
Yeah. It's like it goes from 4 clicks to 1 click. That's a lot. Even these small actions, these small improvements makes the difference.
So in terms of those small improvements, what does the targeting look like when it's coming in on the strike? Is there anything, have you guys built in, is there any AI targeting, any assistance, or is it purely the pilot sees the strong point or the BMP and flies it in the entire time? Is that something you're able to talk about?
Yeah, I'm able to talk about that. We can modify our drone with auto-targeting capabilities. It is not yet with AI because it's still an emerging technology. A lot of security concerns are related with this technology, and I don't believe that there are a lot of actual combat usages of AI system in drones. It will be in the near future. Yeah. That's 100%, mostly because we are at war and we need to improvise. So we will see swarm of drones one way or another. We can modify it with the system that locks on the target, and then the drone goes by himself on the final stage of piloting. And about your question, what the operator see when he locks on the target? Nothing. Well, mostly because the jamming on the front line is so widespread that when you lock on the target, it jams the signal absolutely, like 100%. You don't see anything, just this gray screen, you know. So whether you hit the target or not, you see from the other drone that conducts reconnaissance. It's can be 5 kilometers from the target, but it has very good camera that can see up to 5 kilometers, and this is the drone that would confirm that you have hit the target. And what makes the difference between our drone and the quad drone is that, again, we are a fixed wing drone, basically a plane. When a quad drone loses signal, it just goes straight down, because that's like a helicopter. Imagine the engine failure on helicopter. It goes instantly, it crashes, because it cannot travel on air. But we've seen a lot of videos with aircraft engines that were failing and people managing to land. And the same thing goes here. Like when the control is failing with our drone, it still flies on the inertia.
Yeah. Do I understand correctly the lock on, where if you do not lock on, there's still a chance of the jammers shutting off the signal? But if you do, does that just like tip their hand and they know that's a drone right there, and they're able to sever that connection?
No, the way jamming works is it's not a big secret that right now on the front line we use analog signal to communicate with drone. That's basically a radio, the radio that's used on all cars all around the world. And the same signal can be used on different frequencies. And the way jamming works is he just kills the given frequency. Absolutely, 100%. It turns off the given frequency, and on the given frequency, no signal can be reached to the target. And about the lock-on, yeah, if the system fails to identify the target, that this is like a tank, there is a very slim chance that it can actually miss the target, but it is so slim it's statistically negligible. It's like 1% or something like that. These systems proved themselves to be very reliable because that's basically a machine model that was given a lot of photos and images of different targets, and we have thousands, if not tens of thousands, if not millions of videos of drone usage that can be fed to a large model, AI, and it can understand with 99% probability the identity of the target. Even individual soldiers can be identified with this system.
Good point. We don't have to guess what a Russian tank would look like on a drone feed. You guys have tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of videos showing that from every possible angle. So what a way to feed some of those learning models. You've got it all right there.
Yeah, and by the way, if you heard about spiderweb operation, there is a museum in Poltava, near the Poltava region, and the Security Service of Ukraine actually used the exposition models in aviation museum to understand how the two plane would look like in the drone. So this model AI would understand even in the event of heavily jamming where to hit the target.
It's wild, man. You guys are coming up with solutions to problems we didn't know were there even a few months, let alone a few years ago. So, Ross, thank you so much for taking the time to walk through all this, man.
My pleasure. It was a pleasure to meet you, Preston. Thank you.
You as well, sir. All right, so thank you so much to Ross for taking the time to walk through all that today. It's been a lot in the last couple of weeks. It's humbling. We've had the opportunity to talk to a number of Ukrainian soldiers and different companies that are leading the way, right? This is the cutting edge technology at the front line, right? It's being used today. And then they get feedback from soldiers today to modify these platforms to be even better tomorrow. It's pretty unique that we have this degree of insight to be able to learn from these guys in real time, faster than a lot of countries around the world are learning, right? There's so many people that would love to be able to talk to Ross or the Bluebird tech team that want to be able to pick their brains and understand what it is they're doing to be able to put these platforms together. And just the nature of this war, the nature of social media and modern media, we're able to do that here. Again, in large part to the fundraiser we're doing right now through Zygas Paw. That opened the door here, right? We're providing these drones manufactured by this company through Zygas Paw to the 26th Artillery. So for those interested and able, that link will be in the description below. That's all we got for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.